What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Cris Style
Ammo.
Podcast, episode 156, Big Energy Monday. Hope everybody's having a good Monday, wherever you're doing. You're at work, you're at home, whatever you're doing. Appreciate y'all taking the time out to listen to our show today. If you're listening on the playback, we appreciate you too. We got a lot of things to get into. We haven't been around since Monday, so we got some catching up to do. But we got March Madness stuff to talk about, some NBA stuff, of course, some NFL stuff, and other various things. But before we get into that, Maul, how are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm all right, man. Just getting back from Vancouver. Cool. Definitely needed it. Needed to get away for sure. So, man, excited to be back, man. Excited to get the show rolling, man. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain, man. Just same old, same old.
Hmm.
Work and potting, man.
Simple life.
All right, man. Let's get into the March Madness. We had Sweet 16 and we had the Elite Eight this weekend. Always start with I'm gonna start with the men first.
Yeah.
On Thursday, we had Alabama beating BYU 113 to 88. Alabama showcased the offensive masterclass, setting the March Madness record with 25 3-pointers to overpower BYU and advance to the Elite Eight. Um,
Hmm.
Number one, Florida beat Maryland 87 to 71. Uh, Florida displayed the dominance and defeating Maryland to secure their spot into the regional finals. Duke beat Arizona 100 to 93 in a high scoring affair. Duke outlasted Arizona with a standout performance from freshman Cooper Flagg and Con Nepal, leading the Blue Devils to the Elite Eight. Then you had Texas Tech beating Arkansas in overtime, 85 to 83. They edged them out to move on to the Elite Eight. And then on Friday, you had Michigan State beating Ole Miss 73 to 70. Uh, they buckled down in the last few seconds and end up pulling it out against Ole Miss. Auburn beat Michigan 78 to 65 to High Petford and Denver Jones, each scoring 20 points to overcome Michigan and advancing. Houston beat Purdue 62 to 60 in a narrow victory, but they pulled it out at the end. Tennessee beat Kentucky 78 to 65 to advance to the Elite Eight themselves. Then on Saturday, you have the Elite Eight. Florida beat Texas Tech 84 to 79. Walter Clayton Jr. led the Gators with 30 points, propelling them to their first Final Four appearance since 2014. Um, Duke beat Alabama 85 to 65. Um, Nepal had led with 21 points, while Cooper Flag contributed with 16 points and 9 rebounds. Then on Sunday, you had Houston beating Tennessee 69 to 50. Emmanuel Sharp scored 16 points and was named the region's most outstanding player. Um, Alabama beat Michigan State 70 to 64. Star forward Jonah Broom led with 25 points, 14 rebounds, overcoming an arm injury that was a little bit of a scare, but ended up pulling it out against Michigan State. And so we got our Final Four set for the men: Florida versus Auburn, Duke versus Houston. That all will go down at Saturday in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. What are your thoughts, sir?
Man, obviously, I think everything that you kind of stated when this tournament first got, announced with all the teams and stuff like that, that, you kind of called it. I got to give you credit. You kind of said that was pretty much just going to be, all the favorites winning. I mean, we got all the number ones there, which I think is going to tend for having a great Final Four. You know what I mean? I think this is the first time that this has happened, I think, since 2008. And last time I think it was in San Antonio too. So, must be the luck of, San Antonio. Shout out to Pop, shout out to my Dukes, and they out there. So, San Antonio's gonna get a good one, man. You got four teams that can all win the national championship. I think we have a great matchup with Duke and Houston. Get Cooper Flag and that high powered offense going up against pretty much the best defense in college basketball in Houston. Houston, they look like a little bit more completed team. Obviously, I think the The game they had against Tennessee was very, very impressive. They pretty much blew them out in the first half, and they never looked back. They had to lead the whole time. So I think that matchup is going to be really good. Houston, that's a great, gritty defensive team that I think can give Duke some problems. I think that's going to be a great, great matchup. And then obviously, then you get the SEC rivalry with Auburn and Florida. I think that's going to be an amazing game. Clayton Jr., man, he's an amazing, amazing prospect. Going to be, highly accoladed going into the pros, man. He's a very, very pure point guard. Jump shot, he has it all, man. He's a great, great talent. And to go up against Auburn, man, and see, it seems like Auburn got their mojo back going up against Michigan State.
Mhm.
And it's gonna be a great matchup on both ends. You know what I mean? We're gonna get stars all across the board. We got the four best teams that they've been at all year, and it's gonna pretty much come down to who has the best weekend out of all four teams. Because I think for all 40 teams, legitimately can all win the national championship. Man, I'm really looking forward to watching it on Saturday and just seeing the level of competition that we're gonna get for this Final Four.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you, man. It should be a good Final Four. Like you said, Auburn looking like they getting their mojo back, getting back to what they, look like, most of the season. But towards the end, it was a little shaky. But they get back to what they are. And Duke is Duke. You know what I'm saying? Duke, Cooper Flag, I think his name Nepel, all those guys, they out there balling, man. They doing their
Mhm.
thing, man. So they looking really strong right now. Florida's also looking strong too. So this is gonna be a good Final Four, man. I'm looking forward to Saturday, man. He should be really good. All right, let's move on to the women, man. So on Friday you had Duke versus North Carolina. Duke ended up winning 47-38 in a low-scoring defensive battle. Duke managed to limit North Carolina offense to just 38 points. Duke's slow start. And overall 31% field goal shooting was more than compensated by a stifling defensive effort. So they end up pulling out against North Carolina. South Carolina pulled out a tough one against Maryland. They had some clutch contributions in the final minutes from Chloe Kitts and a few other veterans, Marissa Fulrelly and all them. They was doing their thing. They ended up pulling it out at the end. LSU beat NC State 80 to 73. I know Anisha Morrow, she had a double double, 30 points and 19 rebounds. Michaela Williams and Samaya Smith also contributed by scoring and rebounding. Um, and then UCLA ended up beating Ole Miss 76 to 62. Lauren Betts, she had 31 points, 10 rebounds. Kiki Rice also had contributed with assist and secondary scoring. They end up beating them. And then the surprise, TCU ended up beating Notre Dame 71 to 62. Haley Van Lathe, who's been doing her thing this year, she led them with 26 points. Sedona Price also had 21 points. And Hannah Hadoglo, she didn't have a really good game. She shot 3 for 19 field goals. She only had 15 points. It was not a good showing from her in this game. So, but shout out to TCU, man. They've been balling, man. Texas beat Tennessee 67 to 59. Um, they pretty much dominated that game. UConn dominated Oklahoma. Paige Beckers had 40 points. She balled out. She showed up. She did her thing. And and then you had USC. They beat Kansas 67 to 61. We all know about the Juju Watkins ACL tear. Unfortunately, she's out for the whole tournament and out for the season. We wish her a speedy recovery. You know what I'm saying? And she could bounce back next year and show that she is the best in the nation. We were looking forward to this next matchup with UConn and USC with her and Paige Beckers, but unfortunately, we won't get it. But we still got Kiki Efron. She still balled out. She did her thing. And those two freshman girls, they balled out too. So and then on yesterday, we had South Carolina versus Duke, which was a tough battle. I watched this whole matchup. It was down to the wire. Duke pretty much had this game in the bag. Like they controlled most of this game. It was until the end that Duke kind of started messing up a little bit, couple turnovers here and there, and kept South Carolina in the game. and they ended up pulling it out 54-50. Sienna Figan had 12 points. Chloe Kitts had 14 points. Uh, and Yeah, man, it was a tough battle, but they ended up pulling it out. UCLA ended up beating LSU 72-65. This was a back and forth game too, but UCLA ended up pulling it out at the end. I also watched this game too. Laura Betts had 31 points, 10 rebounds, 3 block shots. Floje Johnson, she had 28 points herself, but they could really never really get nothing flowing on offense. Anisha Morrow had a solid game, but it was not enough to beat UCLA. UCLA is dangerous, man. That girl Lauren Betts is a cheat code. She
Mhm.
6'6", 6'7", just getting rebounds. That's how they was getting a lot of their points, second chance points because of those rebounds. So and then today we still got 2 games today. We got the Texas Longhorns versus TCU, and then we got UConn and USC. So we'll find out who's all going to the Final Four by the end of the night. So, what's your thoughts on the women?
Obviously, man, I think this tournament is it's just gonna be known for the devastation of watching Juju go down with that knee injury. I think that'll be probably the most memorable moment of this tournament, unfortunately, and it's
Yeah,
sad. You know what I mean? We all had, we're all big fans of Juju. We're all big fans of all these young ladies in this tournament. But Juju holds a special place in our heart, man, because we
mhm,
definitely root for that girl. We see the talent that she has, and she has a beautiful soul, man. Very, she seems very respectable. So it really did suck to see her go down because I really had them winning this whole thing. I thought they had the team to do it, and with her, I think she's easily the best player in this whole
mhm.
in all of college basketball. So it definitely sucked to see her go down. I know she'll be back in full force. I'm not really worried about her career. I know she'll bounce back. I know they'll be fine next year, but it does suck. But overall, man, I think with this tournament, South Carolina is showing some struggles here a little bit. I thought Chloe Kitts had an amazing game. I think she pretty much saved them from losing against Duke. Duke played a hell of a game, but
Mhm.
that it seems like something is clearly missing from South Carolina. Like obviously they were able to make it to the Final Four, but um, depending on all the teams that make it, man, you got to think they might be the most vulnerable one out of all the four who end up going to the Final Four. But obviously, we're all gonna have faith in Don Staley. Like they are deep as far as with that team, but they do have some questionable holes that and some inconsistencies with this team that you really got to just start questioning if they're really going to be able to make it to the championship. They have the talent to, but it's just they're showing a lot of weakness. Obviously, UCLA is just looking like behemoths, man. They're looking like clearly the best team. Um,
Mhm.
very dominant defensively, offensively. They just have it all. And shout out to LSU, man. I think that those girls really fought really all
Mhm.
the way to the end. I am disappointed by Kim Mulkey and some of her and the way she was acting towards
Yeah,
the press, especially I heard after it was a student reporter after some of the
yeah,
comments that she did. We all know the true colors of Kim Mulkey, man. We saw it with the Brittany Griner situation where she was over in Russia, and they literally had to like beg her to make any kind of supportive comments towards her. We see the things that she does in the media, man. That it just turns into just privileged, unnecessary banter that is just not. It's just detrimental. And
mhm.
honestly, I question every day why black women athletes go to her. What I mean, there's so many other great college coaches that deserve your talent. What I mean, white, it doesn't even matter what color, but just with her, it's something about her I just can't fuck with. So that's just me.
Mhm.
But anyways, just moving forward. And then obviously I think Van Lith is clearly putting her name as the best player in this tournament right now. Between her and Paige Beckers, I mean, those two snow bunnies are actually they're killing it. They're killing the game, man. And for real, like they're taking over Paige Buchers. She's an amazing. Obviously, they got the big game against USC and UConn. I know a lot of people are dismissing USC because they don't have Juju, but I'm not going to dismiss them. I think
Yeah.
USC has a good chance of winning it and surprising UConn. I think
Mhm.
defensively, I think they're still really good. They still got talent across the board. Now, am I going to pick them? No. I think just with the health aspect of this competition, I'm gonna take UConn to win this game. I think it'll be close though. I think Paige
Mhm.
Becker just her talent is just gonna supersede. That's why we all want to see that Juju and Paige matchup. Now, obviously, USC is gonna be highly motivated. UConn beat them last year. So we can't sleep on that. And it's a very talented team. So I'm excited to watch that game later today. And obviously Texas TCU in-state battle, in-state rivalry. Van Lith has just been hooping, man. But
Yes.
Texas is a dog. But I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna pick the upset, man. I'm gonna pick TCU to win that game today. I just think they're just playing really, really good, man. And to watch this team from last year, and where they were at to where they are now, it's truly impressive. They were one of the worst teams in their conference to now potentially being one of the top 4 teams left in women's college basketball. So it's an amazing turnaround. I think overall this tournament has been pretty predictable. You know what I mean? As far as like what's been going on, I don't think there's been any like great games. I would say there's been a couple close ones. Obviously, the Kansas State Kentucky game was really, really good. Obviously, what's old girl's name? Old girl from Maryland, not Maryland, Alabama. Her name was, I watched that game. Barker, Sarah Ashley Barker. Yo, you are a hooper. She had 40 points in that tough loss against Maryland. They had, I think they had like a 14-point lead and they lost it. And they went into double overtime. She hooped, man. I really hope they can find a way to get Aces, can get Sarah Barker. I think she would be a tremendous talent on the Aces. That's going to be a tremendous talent coming out from college basketball. So shout out to her. But, hey, man, I think these 2 games tonight are going to be really good. I think both of these games could come down to the wire for sure.
Yeah, back to South Carolina. I watched both games from the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. And it's just one thing is clear about them is that they are missing that go-to guy person that could just take over the game.
Yeah,
they don't have that anymore. Camila Cardozo was clearly that last year. And then in years past, they've had women Asia Wilson, they've had women that just, all right, it's the fourth quarter, I need to take over. I need to score 40 tonight. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have that. They have talent like Tiana Pow. She's really, all of them are good. Bree Hall, Raven Johnson, they all bring something to the table. I think Malaysia Fulwiley is their best offense, like pure offense, just get a bucket by herself. She's the clear best one, and she comes off the bench. So it's just like, and I was even wondering in the game on Saturday, I'm like, why is she in the final minutes? Like, where is she at? Like,
yeah, I know it's been kind of a big conversation I've been seeing like on Twitter on why she doesn't start, why does she get more minutes?
I'm like,
I don't know. That's obviously, when you start doing that, you kind of, I don't want to question Dawn Staley because we all know
never that.
But it is a question, man. She is probably the best offensive talent. It's kind of like, not to be disrespectful, it's like they have a lot of great players, but they don't have no superstars on this team. Like they don't have like that. Just like as you said, like that. Who the ball is going to go to. No one can stop that. It's just like they have a bunch of like grade A+.
They don't have an identity to me.
Yeah, it's like it's just
because like 1 minute it's like they want to go inside with Kits and Bree Hall. They want to go on the inside, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of like whoever gets the ball will either dribble, drive it to the hole, and they'll miss. They miss a lot of shots too. Like these past 2, they've been missing a lot of shots. Like
they haven't really looked good. Go ahead.
And then they've been taking some bad shots too sometimes. It's just like they need to just slow it down. Y'all been here before. That's how y'all been here before.
I think that's when they win their games. You know what I mean? They win them ugly, but they win them based off experience and just the true grit and talent that they have. Right. You know what I mean? And obviously the coaching from Dawn Staley. I don't know, man. It's just like they just have bad starts. You know what I mean? And it's getting to the point in the tournament where, by the grace of God, they and basketball guys, they've been getting a little lucky here. Duke could have easily won that game. Some people could even say Duke was probably the better team at the.
They're the Kansas City Chiefs of women basketball.
Yeah, for real, man. It's like they have all the talent, but it's just like something just ain't clicking. And I don't know if Dawn Staley's just having a tough time just registering that to the ladies. Like I don't know if it's a confidence level thing. I don't know if it's some inner workings with relationships that just aren't functioning, you know what I mean, to be able to be successful consistently. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I said I think they are the most vulnerable team. I still think they're one of the best talented teams as far as like overall talent wise. I think they're the deepest, but it's just something just ain't clicking. But But then it all can change next week. They all can just turn around and they can literally just start smoking everybody. You know what I mean? So
They
again, I
just
wouldn't.
need they need to get in that. They just need to figure out who is that one that they're gonna lean on when they need it. Like, is it Marisha Fulwiley? Is it Bree Hall? Is it Chloe Kitts? Like, is it one of those? It's got to be one of those three. Tiana Pow. Like, it's got to be one of them. You know what I'm saying? To step up and make it happen. Because, I love Raven Johnson, but Raven Johnson is known for her defense. That's what she's known
Yeah,
for. She's good on defense. She can make a couple buckets here and there, but she's known for her defense. The true offensive players on that team is Melissa Farr and Tessa Johnson. Because Tessa Johnson, she's the best shooter on the team. So they gotta figure that out. They gotta get an identity.
as I said, man. For as poorly as they play, they're beating some really good teams. So as I
Yeah.
said, if they can just get that offensive side clicking, I
Mhm.
think they're easily the best team in all of college basketball. I know it sounds like we're kind of like
No,
down. But it does kind of sound like we're shitting on.
they just have high expectations
We
for
have
them.
high
So
expectations, but at the end of the day, as I said, like as you said, if they can just find just a rhythm on the offensive
yeah,
side, they're going to be blowing out these
because
teams.
defensively they're still really good.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they're winning these games is defensively.
Yeah,
Like
defensively they're
you
really
got
good.
you got those two tall ladies that are commanding the inside. I think perimeter wise, I think they're really good on the perimeter
Mhm.
defense. Like that's the only thing that's been really keeping them in the games. Like I
Yeah.
think it's been the turnovers creating into fast break points that are literally winning these games for South Carolina. Now,
Mhm.
if they could just get the half court offense into effect, I think they're easily going to be national champions. I think the only team that could possibly get in their way
UCLA.
will be UCLA. Honestly, I think that's the only and UConn. I'm not going to dismiss UConn. I
No,
think
yeah,
UConn can do it too with Paige because obviously Paige is that superstar factor that you always got to account. Like she can easily get 40 points if she wants to, but South Carolina's just they got it. They got the coach, Jeannie
Mhm.
RM too and all that, but I said it's going to make it interesting. Obviously, I'm very curious to see how everything plays out tonight and just who wins because you got some hot teams like TCU. TCU
TCU,
they can
yeah,
get
yeah.
in. We all know Van Lith and some of the history that she has with South Carolina and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So that could be interesting. Obviously, Texas and how deep they are. You can't count those
Mhm.
ladies out. They've been playing amazing ball as of
Yeah.
late. And then obviously you got the USC UConn matchup, which you can't count on those. But hey, man. This weekend is going to be great for college basketball, no matter what matches will be, especially with the ending of the Elite Eight here with the women's basketball.
Yeah, and my thoughts on TCU. That starting five can match up with any starting five in the
Yeah,
tournament. It's just they don't have no depth.
yeah. Any foul trouble, yeah, it's going to be a
Yeah,
problem. Yeah.
yeah, they have no depth after that starting five. Um, as far as USC goes, man, hey, Kiki Everon, you can make you some money, baby. You can make you some money, boy. If you upset UConn and you the one, it's gonna take her and those two freshmen.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
They
gonna
can do
take
it.
her.
They
They
can do it.
can.
Yeah,
It's gonna take her and those two freshmen to ball out. They're gonna at least one of them gonna have to ball out. You know what I'm saying? To help her out because she can get hers. It's just the other one. You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
So, because I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't mind seeing her. I wouldn't mind seeing Kiki and Lauren Betts again. That's always a good matchup. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
but shout out to the ladies, shout out to the men, man. Some good basketball this weekend, man. I know that a lot of people are down on March Madness this year, but I think it was some good games this weekend. So,
Yeah.
all right, man, let's go to the NBA, man. Taylor Jenkins was fired from Memphis, man.
Hmm.
I don't even know if they give us a reason.
So pretty much from what I'm hearing, listening to insider shams and all that, it seems like it was a lot of dysfunction from head coach to front office with some ideologies on how they wanted to play offensively.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now, I think they want to play a more fast pace. I think they do pick and roll the least out of any team in the NBA right now. Obviously, we know the record with them and 500 and above teams where it's not really good. Um, A lot of people, I think insiders kind of saw this from last year. I think they let go a lot of his staff from last year, and the front office pretty much hired his staff that he currently has now. I think there's a gentleman from overseas that they highly tout, who they think is a great offensive mind, who I think they had him come in to kind of establish the offense. So Taylor Jenkins didn't even have any say in the offense that he run and run. I guess they started pretty good, but I think as of late they've been hitting a little bit of low. Bit on the losing streak. I think Taylor Jenkins started trying to get away from that offense that they were trying to run and go back to what he wanted to do, playing more pick and roll, have Ja Morant on the ball a little bit more, because that's what Ja was. And obviously Ja wasn't really in the lineup as of late with some of the injuries that he had with, I think he had a shoulder problem or something like that. So, and then there was also rumors that maybe the Grizzlies tried to push him a little bit too hard to come back a little bit too soon, and I think that's how he re-injured his shoulder. So it's been a lot of, from what I'm hearing, a lot of dysfunction with that. Overall, I'm still in complete shock that they did it, especially the timing. We only got maybe like less than 8 games left until playoffs start. They're still a top 5 team. I think currently right now they're 5th right now, 44-30. Obviously, they had a tough loss to my Lakers, but I still think the firing it's just kind of malpractice to me at this point. You just don't do it at this particular time. I think you let him finish out the season. He was still able to, to have a great record, obviously with injuries with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant, him still being able to be a top 5 seed, especially in the tough West that we all see it is right now. I think it's tough to justify him being fired currently at this particular time. If you want to fire him at the end of the season, let's say they lose in the first round or something, then go ahead and you do that at that particular time. Even with, some of the interviews that you see with Ja Morant and some of these other players, one of the players, Jackson, he kind of thought it was like an NBA Centel tweet. You know what I mean? He didn't even really believe it. So, and then Ja Morant wasn't really too pleased. And you kind of see how the offense is being ran, where you got Ja Morant just standing in the corner sometimes. That's just not what you want to see. I think Brian Renhorst, I think he said it correctly. I think this should be the Ja Morant watch this summer. I think this playoff run is going to say a lot if Ja Morant is still going to be there. I think this time next year. So I think the Grizzlies just are in kind of like this flux right now. I think the ownership once things ran one way, and the head coach that they had just didn't see it. So I know you listened to some Grizzly fans. Some Grizzly fans said they kind of expected it, and I get it. I understand it, but I just think the timing was just off. It was just weird. You don't do it now. If you want to do it, you should have did this a couple months ago. You should have did this before All-Star break. You know what I mean? Because it puts even the coach that you highly favor, it puts him in a bad position right now because, he's been part of the team and all that, but I'm sure, everybody, as far as like when they get put in that position, they want practices to be ran a certain way. They have their own ideologies on how things they want to be ran. So it's just kind of tough to put him in this kind of predicament. I think low key, he'll probably be the next head coach. I wouldn't be surprised if they dubbed him to be the next head coach for the Grizzlies moving forward. So, because they highly tout him. So, but overall, I think Jenkins got a raw deal as far as like the timing of the firing. Very surprising. I think the players, it doesn't really do them justice and service for them and give them confidence going into the playoffs. It's just a weird time. So sucks for Taylor. I know he's going to be one of the more prominent head coaches that gets a job next year. He'll definitely get a job next year. I think the Bulls should definitely look into that. Wizards, they should definitely look into that. You got other coaches, maybe the Kings. I think they should also look into that. Hawks, whoever. I think he'll definitely get a lot of job opportunities for next year. So, I even think maybe the situation with the Knicks and Tibbs, I would strongly consider it with Tibbs, honestly, because, even with Tibbs, I know Tibbs is a great coach. He's a great defensive-minded coach, but the main problem with him is he runs his players into the ground. I think Taylor Jenkins would be I think there's going to be some surprising headlines coming out in the NBA going into the offseason where you might hear some coaches' names that might be on the hot seat because Taylor Jenkins is available. I think Taylor Jenkins is one of the top young head coaches in this league, and it's just something that a lot of these teams are going to have to look into where they feel like they need that one coach that could just take them over the hump. And I think Taylor Jenkins can do that. I think really change the whole atmosphere and team's mindset around. And whether it's one of these young teams that is playing not playing well, or a team like the Knicks, where they have the talent to compete and be a championship contender. They just need a fresh face and a fresh voice in the locker room.
Yeah. Outside of the Bulls and the Knicks, who else would you strongly consider him going to?
I think the Phoenix Suns, obviously, but if I'm him, would I go to the Phoenix Suns with everything that's going on with that franchise? No. You already have rumors about Mike Budenholzer leaving or getting fired. Another team. Obviously, you got to look at the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans situation. I think they have talent, but obviously, we just got to figure out the whole situation on what they want to do with Zion Williamson and the future of that team, and what position they will get as far as like with draft pick. I said Chicago Bulls. I think will be a great one. I think the Pistons are fine. I think he's doing a great job over there. I think the Pacers are fine. I said I would look at the Knicks. I think that would be one of the more surprising teams. I think that should look into it. Not saying that Tibbs should be fired, but I think that's another one. The Milwaukee Bucks, Doc Rivers and that whole situation. I think that's another head coach that should keep an eye out. I think Taylor Jenkins, you pair him up with Giannis and Dame. I think that can, potentially maybe help Giannis potentially stay there. I think Giannis is the next big superstar. I think that's potentially could leave his team. I think it is. So that's just another team I think you should watch out for. But yeah, man, he's gonna get plenty of opportunities. Brooklyn Nets, Toronto Raptors, all these teams, man. Any team that's just not doing good or they don't really have a belief in what they got moving forward, I think Taylor Jenkins should easily be on the top of their list for potentially getting their job. He's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid.
Unfortunate situation, you know what I'm saying? Memphis is going to the playoffs, so it's a very surprising move, and this is the reason why these front offices are ridiculous and stupid and dumb. They make dumb decisions like this. Just like you said, man, you could have made this move after the season. They get bounced in the first, second round. Okay, we tired of losing in the first, second round. You could have made up an excuse. Doing it in season where that just puts your players in a bad spot. They all discombobulated. You got your star player over there. He looked like he ain't even motivated no more. He probably had a good relationship with Taylor Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? So you just I've never unless you losing. It'd be different if Memphis was just terrible. They were bad. Then okay, you got a legitimate reason to fire dude. But because you and him ain't agreeing on something, you're gonna fire him now in the middle. We better go to the playoffs, man. What are you doing?
Less than 3 weeks away. Like it makes no sense, man.
This is why bad organizations are bad organizations.
Yeah,
and they don't win championships. So. All right, man. Let's do our top 5 NFL draft wide receiver prospects.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kareem, appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for the birthday wish. I saw you on that one. Yeah. First one. Surprising, man. I'm gonna go with Luther Burden, man. I think Luther Burden gets dismissed a lot for no reason. I think Luther Burden, if you look at all these receivers that are on there, I think he was the most consistent one in college. I think he's very, very talented. I know last year wasn't really a good year for Missouri as far as like just with the consistencies. Obviously, there was a lot of hype on that team, which it was well deserved. It's just something just didn't click with that team.
Yeah.
But I think Luther Burden is a hell of a talent. I think he was clearly the best receiver going into the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he still is. I just think a lot of stuff just didn't go their way last year. It was just a rough year last year for everybody on that team.
Yeah.
But I think Luther Burden is the number one. I think he's the best receiver, me personally. Number 2.
I was surprised by that one, brother.
I know. Number 2, I got Matthew Golden, man. Sorry. I got Matthew Golden. I think he's a really, really great, talented receiver. Texas, we know they got the speedsters, bro. And I think the lineage just with Texas receivers is a good one, man. He's an immediate deep threat, man. I know his route tree can probably be a little bit better, but overall, I think he's going to be a great, talented guy. Number 3, I got McMillan from Arizona. I think overall, talent-wise, he could potentially be the best one. I just think there's just been so many games where he's just disappeared off your television screen, where he's just not there. And I think that's a problem to me. He'll have moments. He reminds me of like Amari Cooper in the NFL, where it's just like in a sense of At any moment, he can give you a 10 catch, 250 plus yard type of
Mm-hmm.
game, but then he'll disappear for 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the talent is there, but it's just something that just doesn't click. But I was going back and forth with between him and Buke for number 3, but I gave it to McMillan. But he just got to find some consistency. And then I remember I think I saw some while I was on vacation where I think he did a podcast or something, and he
He
talking
did
about he
an
don't like
interview. He don't watch film
he
by
don't watch
himself.
film.
He watch it with the. He says we watch it as a group. So why should I watch? First of all, he said he don't watch football. So that's
Yeah,
an automatic. Like,
and
okay,
it's just like I'm like it makes me even more question. It makes me even more reassured that it makes me understand why you disappear for weeks on end. Like you'll have the
Mhm.
one great game, but then you'll disappear. Like I can't trust the consistency with him. So
Yeah.
I think with some of the comments, and I think when really if you're a real scout, I think he should drop. I don't think he should be a top 10 pick, but that's just me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Emeka Abuke, I got number 4.
Mhm.
I think he could easily probably be in the top 3. Me personally, I honestly, you know what? I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna put Totori at 4 after, and I'm gonna put Emeka at 3, man, because I trust Emeka more, bro. Like
Yeah.
he's been in bigger
Mhm.
games. Obviously, you know what I mean. He didn't get really showcased a
Facts.
lot. With Ohio State, obviously with the
Mhm.
talent that they have, but I think
Jeremiah
Emeka is
Smith. Yeah.
I think Emeka, but just this time last year, I think people had him high on draft boards too.
Mhm.
So for him to
Mhm.
be, any lower than 3, I think is insane. Especially just when you actually talk through the McMillans, it just makes it look even worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
Right.
do I really want to do a top pick on a cat like that? I don't know. And then number 5, I went with Jalen Noel. I think he's a very fast speedster type of guy. Very dangerous weapon. I think he gives me some Xavier Worthy kind of like feel to him as far as like
Mhm.
just explosiveness of him. So yeah, man, that's my top 5. And honestly, the more and more I think about McMillan, I low key want to take him off my top 5. Low key, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That scares me to death.
You know what? Our list is very similar, sir. I got Luther Burden number 1 on my list. That's why I was surprised because I thought I was going to get a little pushback from you. Like, man.
Nah, bro. Nah.
But I agree with you on Luther Burden. I think he has all the big run after the catch. He's versatile. You can put him all over the field. I just think, dude, Missouri just had a bad year. they underachieved. Brady Cook, he was hurt most of the season. It wasn't good. And offensively, they just weren't good. But I think talents wise, I think Luther Burden, if you get him in a good system, don't let the Rams get him. Like don't let the Rams get him. Like,
Man,
it's over.
it's a wrap, bro. Yeah, that'll be the best wide receiving core for sure.
Yeah, man. Don't let an offensive mind person get him. Know how to use him right. Like
Chiefs.
I'm not mad at him. The dude from Stanford is nice. He is nice. Um, I got I'm with you with Matthew Golden. Speed, I think his route running is actually pretty good. Um, of course, he could work on some stuff, but I think he ran a 4.29 in the 40. He's a super speedster. Like, dude is really really good. So I'm
Mhm,
with you on Matthew Golden.
mhm.
Um, I got Emeka Buge as my third receiver. I just think dude was highly productive all years he was there, and he had different iterations of talent around him from Marvin Harrison Jr., Jeremiah Smith, JSN. Like he played with all of them, and he was still productive with all of them. So if you want a plug and play type dude, that's Emeka Buge. Like he's going to be a high end number 2 for years if he stays healthy. That's how I look at him. Like you put him next to DK Metcalf or one of them dudes, like a number 1 that needs a number 2.
He's
Emeka
like the
Buge.
new T Higgins to me. Like
Yeah,
he has number 1 talent, but he can be number 2, and it'll be no problem.
yeah, for years. Just keep him on, and he'll just show
He'll
up.
produce. Yeah, he'll
I'm
produce.
with you with Tet. I put him at 4, but I'm scared too. Like you don't watch football, my guy. You don't watch film. Like, and you right, because I looked at his stat line. It's like 300, and then 11, then 200, then 54, then 70, then like 300, and it's like it's so up and down. It's like
Yeah.
yeah. It's like okay, your talent is getting you by, but maybe if you watch a little bit more film, sir, you'd be a little bit more productive. And crazy part is he had 1,300 yards last year, but it was
Yes.
kind of bloated with some of those big numbers.
Yeah, you ain't doing that in the SEC, bro, or Big Ten.
No. And then I'm with you. I'm with the other receiver from Iowa State, Jaden Higgins. I think he's really good. He's 6'3", 6'4".
Mhm.
He's fast, big, can catch the ball. Like he's real physical. Like I like dude. I like Joel Noah too. He's a KC guy too. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, no doubt, no
You know
doubt.
what I'm saying? But no, both of those receivers are baller. You can go good with either or. But
Yeah, for sure.
it's nice. It's some guys out here. I like the dude from Ole Miss. What's his name? Trey Thomas, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Royals. I like Royals too from
Yeah,
Utah
I
State.
like Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond is good.
Yeah, Savon is good too. Yeah.
Right.
There's some guys in this
No,
draft.
yeah, you got some.
Of course, Ricky Wright. Hometown boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got Trey Harris. You know what I mean? So,
That's
I
the name,
think
Trey Harris.
Jack Beck. TCU. I saw him flashing a little bit. On the screen. So yeah, no, I think there's talent. I said for reaching purposes, I just think McMillan just scares me. I can't. I don't know. I don't want my Raiders taking him. I don't.
Do you think he drops because of these comments?
I'm just saying, man, if you got two eyes and you just like, we don't watch as much tape as these scouts. We don't go to these games, but just with my eye test alone and just the times that I have watched him, it's just the inconsistency that scares me. And that was even before the comments that he came out with. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like it's the numbers and just the freakish ability that he could potentially have is I think that can put a little glare in your eyes to the point where you get blinded by the rest of the things that are negative around him. But when you take all that glitter away and you just look at just the overall person and just the overall consistency of talent on play on field, I don't see how he's a top 10 pick. I don't. Unless if you have just so much belief in his talent that you can get through to him where he can consistently, take watching film seriously and stuff like that. Because in college, yeah, you're gonna get babied. But in the NFL, you ain't getting baby, bro. You're gonna need to watch tape outside of the wide receiver. I'm like, bro, if I'm a wide receiver coach, I'm like, do I want to deal with a brother? Do I want to babysit somebody like that? I'm like, I don't know. And then it's just with the way the wide receivers are nowadays and how just deep the pool talent is. I think that's little stuff like this I think are just bigger X's on your resume where it's just like, all right, I can go Territory, I can go Luther. I'm gonna go Luther every day of the week. I can go Meke or I can go McMillan. I'm gonna go Meke all day of the week. Matthew Golden or McMillan. I'm gonna go Meke. When you start getting to the other guys, like you know what I mean? Like homie from like Jaden Higgins and stuff like that. Like Trey Harris. It's just like what are we doing?
I'm sure his age. If I was his agent, I'd be cussing him.
Like homie 6'5" ran what he ran like a 4.47 or something like that, McMillan or something like that.
He ran a 4.48.
4.48, you know what I mean? Like Trey Harris is 6'3", 210. Like what are we doing? And he went up against better talent, you know what I mean? Like it's just like no disrespect to the conferences that Arizona played, and I think they're in the Big 12 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, man, it's just
Travis Hunter had Tet in a blender. That's all I'm gonna say. He had him in a blender.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, and then the 330 he had against, I forgot what team it was. I think their defense wasn't even that great.
New Mexico. It was New Mexico.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, man.
And then the following week, they went against some small school, and he had like 11 yards.
He ain't doing nothing.
I don't know if he got hurt, but like 11 yards.
He just disappears from your screen, dog. Like, I think that's a problem. Like, you just like sometimes you be like, damn, I forgot they got McMillan on the team. Like, where's he at? And I think a lot of comparable things is Amari Cooper. Like, we know Amari Cooper can be hella talented, but his number one thing and number one problem has always been with him in the league is just the consistency and how much does he want to be there. You know what I mean? Like some days where it just look like he don't want to play football that day. You know what I mean? Like even with the Bills.
Yeah.
That's
always been my problem with Amari Cooper. It's just like, he'll look like a great player. And he was a great player at Alabama for sure. But it's just like
He,
He'll show that in the league, and it's just sometimes it's just like on his
because like
face.
as the older he gets, the more just I don't even think Amari Cooper's going to be in the league much longer because like his talent, like when he was younger and he had the talent and he didn't have all the injuries, like yeah, his overall God gift ability is just going to flash. But the older you get, the less of that you have, and then just the hunger. I'm like, if you don't even have the hunger, like you just slowly start to. Like the Bills didn't even use him in the playoffs. like I think that's a problem. I think they trusted Keon Coleman more than Amari Cooper. You trusted Khalil Shakir more than Amari Cooper. You didn't even try. Like it was like literally you put him in. You designed a play for him at that one time, and then you take him out, and then he's just on the sideline watching for the rest of the game. Like I think that's a problem, and it's just like I think he can. I think McMillan has the potential to be that.
Yeah.
And I'm not risking the top 10 pick for that. Sorry.
Can you see some Quentin Johnson in him? Possibly.
With McMillan?
Mm-hmm.
I could, yeah, honestly could. I think McMillan is a better receiver than him. I think me personally. I think talent wise, I think he's better. But yeah, no, I can see it.
We'll see. He might come into the league and kill us, take it by storm.
Kareem, man, why are you saying we're gonna take Tyler Warren, bro? We're not taking Tyler.
He told
you can chill, bro. They got us. I saw a new mock draft where they got us taking up Dual Carter.
Yeah, I saw that. Damn, he dropped all the way to y'all.
I seen some wild shit. I've seen Travis Hunter dropping us. I've seen
hey, whoever the dude is that got us taking the guard from North Dakota, kill yourself. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's do our BetUS short fire picks.
So for today, I got a quick little three. I got the Phillies minus 1.5 against the Rockies. I got the White Sox money line against the Twins. I got a little upset right there, and then I got the Magic plus 2.5 over the Clippers.
I got a little something over here. In NBA, I got Orlando money line over the Clippers. I got the Celtics minus 5 over the Grizz, and I got your Lakers minus 4 over the Rockets. And then in college, the women's basketball, I got TCU plus 7.5 over Texas, and I got USC plus 15 over UConn. And in baseball, I got Mets 1.5 over the Marlins, Dodgers over Braves, Tigers over Mariners, and my Royals money line over the Brewers. If you go to any of our social media platforms, you'll see the BetUS link. Go to the website, click on it. They're doing a 150% sign-in bonus promotion. You sign up, and your first 3 deposits, $200 or $100 up to $5,000, is all risk-free. That means in your first 3 deposits, if you bet and you lose, you keep all your money. So you can win some money or you cannot lose your money. So go over to BetUS, sign up, and tell them Cris Style Mal sent you.
Mm-hmm.
And that does it for our BetUS short fire picks. Oh boy. The ever going saga, Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. Now, last week, LeBron James showed up on the Pat McAfee show and let it all hang out. He was talking his shit, especially against Stephen A. Smith. Pretty much told Stephen A. was going on a Taylor Swift run with what he would have did, you know what I'm saying, to LeBron James pretty much, and what happened that day. And, you know, it seems like every day Stephen A. Smith is just like conflicted with himself and what he should have did and what he actually did, you know, with the LeBron James confrontation. And they've been going back and forth. I think it was a little pet. I even think LeBron was being a little petty with the handshake he did with Nick Wright in the family.
Yeah.
He was extra with it. I think he was being a little petty. Well, hey, whatever. Um, but what are your thoughts on this whole LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith stuff, man?
Uh, kind of over it, man. Honestly, I think both of them look kind of weak in this situation. I think the initial clash when LeBron, met with Stephen A. at the courtside during the game. Um, I just thought there was better ways to handle that situation. LeBron ain't done. I think he did that on purpose because I think he wanted people to see him punking Stephen A. Smith. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's many ways that LeBron could have got his phone number. I'm sure he has his phone number. They could have talked about it and all that type of stuff. I do think it's weak that Stephen A. is. I agree with LeBron. I think he is on this Taylor Swift world tour trying to talk about this whole situation. And then just kind of like the evolution of Stephen A. Smith. Like he started out being humble about the situation on First Take, where he was like, "Oh, like I respect him. I view this situation as him being a father protecting his son, so I respect that." To then him going on his podcast and saying that if LeBron would have touched him, he would have laid hands on him. To just how he looked weak and like it just got worse and worse. And it's just like, bro, like number one, you're not going to do anything to LeBron James. Um, Number two, I just think that was weak in the sense of, him trying to portray like he's this tough guy that, what I mean, like you try to do this whole don't make an enemy out of me type of situation. But in reality, when you had the opportunity to stand up for yourself, you didn't. You know what I mean? And then the first thing that you decided to do was at first you commented saying you didn't want to talk about it. Then you realize how big that it got. Then you say you wanted to talk about it, which I think you don't need to necessarily talk about it. I think you I think you saw the ratings that it could give you if you talked about it. So you did that. And then I just think this whole thing is just played out. Like at the end of the day, with the LeBron situation, I think he needs to understand this, that I think a lot of people are rooting for Bronny. I don't think anybody's wanting to see Bronny besides just dumb idiots on internet that are there every day. Like, who cares about that? I think the masses of people want Bronny to succeed. They don't have anything against him. Now, there may be people that don't like you, but I think from what I've seen, I think most people like Bronny. You know what I mean? I think they think he's cool. I think he's chill. Like he don't really do nothing. He just want to ball and be around his friends, his girlfriend, play some Call of Duty, and that's it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I think with the whole heart scare, I think that even just put more people on the side because he went through something that what I mean. A lot of people don't survive. You know what I mean? So I just think he needs to understand that he did put his son in this kind of like privileged position, which I think any one of us would have done for our sons. If we can get our sons in the league, we're gonna do it. Chris, you got kids, I don't. I'm sure you'll do anything possible to make your kids be successful in life. And if that's, I have a business and I want them to be VP and CEO, but they're just gonna be under my wing till I know they can be competent to run said business, you're gonna do that. Everybody does that. Nepotism is everywhere. So I'm not mad at it. Now, again, there are people that he did take a job from. That's the reality of that too. You know what I mean? With that nepotism and that favoritism of you put him in that league, that was a player that potentially could have got a job. You know what I mean? And that's the reality of that too. So he needs to understand that the moment that he did that for his son, there is going to be scrutiny with everything that he does. Like I know you see players like Draymond Green talking about like, oh, like Bronny is a 56 pick and we don't talk about 56 picks like that. I'm like, yeah, that's true, but Bronny is a special 56, 55th, whatever number pick he was in the second round. He's the first second round pick to get a guaranteed contract for 4 years. He has a guaranteed contract for 4 years. There's some first rounders that don't even get that shit. You know what I mean? So yes, he's gonna look at it. He's gonna be viewed very, very differently. And as long as you keep it basketball, I have no problem with it. Like, you know what I mean? You're in the sport. People are gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it, but we're gonna do it in a respectable manner. And I think Bron needs to understand that he cannot always be there to protect his son. And I get it, you're the father, but I think Bronny is tough enough to handle this. You know what I mean? He's
Mm-hmm.
tough enough to get through his heart issues. I think this is nothing for him. I think this is nothing. I think Bronny is a very smart young man where I think he'll be fine. I don't think Bronny needs to baby him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just what people think. I think a lot of people think that what Bron is doing is just babying his son. Like let your son be what he is destined to be. And you got him at this point. Now let him just take over the wheel and let him whatever happens happens. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not mad at LeBron either. You know what I mean? But I think he just needs to understand it. I think Stephen A. Smith needs to just let it go.
Yeah, let it go.
Just let it go.
Yeah, I agree. Stephen A. It's over, man. Just you take your L, brother.
You got your clicks. You got your clicks. You know, you got what you needed. So it's just move on. I think Bronny moved on. Just call it.
In the world of popular opinion, you're never gonna win that race, Stephen A. You're just not. Man. You know what I'm saying? You got more people that don't care for you than they do not care for LeBron James. So it's just let it go, brother. Let it go. We've been there, man. You know, somebody come up to you, say something to you, and then you think about it. Man, I should have said this, or I should have did that. But you know what I'm saying? You didn't. It is what it is. You move on. Life goes on. You'll be all right, Stephen A. You know what I'm saying? You just got a new contract, man. You rolling in the dough.
No, he got more money off of this though. He got more money off of his podcast on YouTube. Yeah, like I said, it's a no-win situation for both guys, man. Like it's a bad look, you know what I mean? But it's understandable too, you know what I mean? So it's just weird, but it is what it is.
I didn't like, he didn't have to do that to Brian Windhorst. Brian Windhorst has been on my man's bandwagon for years.
Oh, that's
showing love.
Yeah, no, that shit was foul. I wanted to ask you this too. There was a lot of people that were bringing up that they didn't understand why he went on the Pat McAfee show. A lot of people were kind of critiquing LeBron that he didn't go on like a kind of up and coming, black podcast or whatever, or like kind of like how Cat Williams helped out Shannon Sharp, elevate his. Like, what are your thoughts to that? Do you disagree with him going on Pat McAfee? Do you think he should have went a different route? Like, some of these LeBron, ride or diers, you know what I mean? Give them the opportunity to have this platform to, you're bigging up these people as well as getting your message off because, your voice is going to be heard whether you're on anything, you know what I mean? On some podcast that has one viewer, somebody's going to find it and then it's just going to track. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I hear y'all, but he was never going to go on Gilbert Arenas' platform. If anybody's platform he was going to go to that was black, it was going to be the Pivot because they're the more. Even though they have some unfiltered, because Channing just be saying the wildest stuff, but they're still kind of buttoned up, unfiltered. If that makes sense, like it's still kind of buttoned up a little bit. So I could see him going on the Pivot, but any other like podcast, no. I think the Pat McAfee show was going to be the show he was going to go on because he wasn't going to go on nowhere else.
Like. I understand why LeBron went on Pat McAfee because of all the stories behind Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith not seeing eye to eye. It's more of like a petty ploy to me, not more so of like I wanted this. This is my moment to try to big up somebody. I understand it, but I also understand the ploy because LeBron was trying to be petty at that particular time. You know what I mean? Like, I think we all know Pat McAfee is the biggest rival to Stephen A. Smith as far as like being the superstar of that station. You know what I mean? So But at the end of the day, like I would have liked for him to go on somebody else's because I just think Pat McAfee doesn't need to talk about basketball. Like none of those guys know anything about basketball to talk about. Like and it's cool. Like no disrespect to Pat, but when they get on basketball shit, I just it's just I don't think they ask the right questions. I think it's just like just stick to the football shit that I get it. You're trying to dabble with the whole shit because I know there was a big problem with Pat McAfee getting basketball experts on his show. I remember seeing him doing like a whole tweet about trying to find some consistent NBA heads to be on the show.
He definitely wasn't going on that career.
Honestly, bro, like I think there's a lot of great up and coming basketball podcasts that he could have went on. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of them. I think eventually Bron will do that. You know what I mean?
I think he'll do it when he retires. Because the one thing I will say, I think the one thing you can say about this interview is that this LeBron James is not close to the vest. He ain't button up.
Nah, this is the real. This is the real LeBron, bro.
He
This is
just
the real
chilling.
LeBron.
He
This
like
is the real
whatever.
LeBron.
You can't say
Now,
nothing. You can't do nothing to me.
yeah, but I get it with LeBron. He does have, like we all know, LeBron gets caught in lies a lot. we all we all know that. You know what I mean? But you know, it's just at the end of the day, I'm not going to fault him for going on Pat though too
I
much.
just didn't like that he threw my man Brian Windhurst under the bus.
No,
Like
I was
that.
unnecessary.
It's like, why
I
you
agree with
gotta do
that.
that? Why
You
why you
just
doing that? But now a year ago you was talking about how cool Brian Windhurst was and that's your guy. And now all of a sudden he a bum. You don't know him.
it's
It's
just
like, come on, what?
hypocritical behavior, bro. I've never
What?
heard Brian. I listen to a lot of Hoop Collective and all that. I've never personally heard Brian Windhorst say that they were best friends. Like I do believe that, you know what I mean. Like Brian Windhorst was around when he started at St. Vincent St. Mary's. I know he started covering him then, and then he just elevated from there, going to the Cavs, and he just followed him around everywhere. So like Brian Windhorst has a lot of LeBron stories, and I agree with you. I think for him to get on Brian Windhorst when he's clearly been like in the
Him
middle
and
with
Nick
everything.
Wright. Him and Nick Wright are like the biggest LeBron
Well,
James.
Nick Wright is like a LeBron dick lover. Like, let's just call that a spade. Like, anything LeBron does, like Nick Wright's just gonna suck it all over. No, pause. But that's just the reality of the situation with Nick Wright. Like, LeBron can't do no wrong. I think Brian Windhorst has been fair and in the middle.
Yeah.
He even talks about that with the coverage with the NBA. Like he thinks there needs to be a balance. Like, yes, I understand what we do on the first take side, but and I understand what we're doing with trying to educate people on the game. We need to find a healthy balance within that. So I think it's fair on certain aspects. Like there are certain topics that just shouldn't be touched when it becomes to certain particular things where you got certain media members bringing in outside family members who aren't playing, bringing them into the conversation. I think that's just unfair. When you start getting more personable about situations, I think that's unfair. But at the same time, I think NBA players need to understand this. The more and more you put your life out on Front Street, the more and more people have the right to critique whatever it is that you do. You know what I mean? So like you just have to be aware with that. That's just the internet of today. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, people got to understand that. And the more you understand that, the more you can understand how to move around this internet shit. And you'll be fine.
I know the biggest loser at all this, Skip Bayless. Because, man, Skip, you've been talking about LeBron for years, and he ain't mentioned you at all, man. You don't even exist.
Nah. And then, I know a lot of people been kind of bringing up, kind of like just, two brothers, bad mouthing each other. And that's not a good look for the black community and stuff like that. And, what I mean, for him to do this on a Pat McAfee show just kind of, heightens the sensitivity of, kind of like the black on black, verbal violence. And, like we're just trying to. And it's like to a degree, I understand that when you really want to start looking in depth with that, like, yeah, it sucks. And then, for Stephen A. Smith and for Bron to kind of put this on Front Street, and it just makes black men look like they just can't control their emotions in a sense. Like, I get that too. You know what I mean?
Stephen A., you leave Kobe out of this, man. You don't never bring Kobe back in this ever again, sir. Leave him out of this.
Yeah, it's just yeah. The
nasty.
whole thing was just unnecessary. It just made both of y'all look bad.
Yeah. All right, man. I don't know if you know, they made some announcements about the Avengers cast, and they brought everybody and their baby mama back. And when I say everybody and their baby mama, I mean everybody. They brought, of course, you got Chris Hemsworth, Thor, Captain America, Anthony Mackie's version, Susan Storm, who's going to be in the new Fantastic Four movie, Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, of course, Florence Pugh, Yelena. And then you got Neymar coming back. You got Shang-Chi coming in. You got Bucky, Black Panther, Letha Wright's version. You got The Thing, and you got Kelsey Grammer's Beast in this movie. Oh, but that's not it. You got Sentry. You got Danny Ramirez as the Falcon. You got Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. David Harmon as Red Guardian. Winston Duke, M'Baku. Ghost. Tom Loki, Charles Xavier, the Patrick Stewart version. Ian McKellen, Magneto, the older version. Nightcrawler's back. Mystique is back. Cyclops, Mark Mason is back. Channing Tatum, Gambit is going to be in this movie. Yeah, they got everybody and their baby mama coming in this movie, man. This is like cash grab, or do you think? Are you scared, nervous?
I'm not nervous. Like, I know the studio's nervous because they're gonna need to make at least $5 billion off of one of these movies because that's like honestly, am I excited to see everybody back on the screen? Because yeah, I am. I think seeing some familiar faces and all that, but I think it comes down to, is the writing going to be good? Is the storyline going to be good? Is the villain going to be good? Like, um, I'm curious to see how many parts. How many parts are they going to have with this Avengers story? Two. So it's going to be a two-parter.
Doomsday and the Doomsday one, and then you got Secret Wars.
Yeah. So I'm expecting these movies to be like 4 hours long. That's another thing I'm expecting. So take out half your day to go watch these. I'm excited though. I know we've been kind of away from the Avengers for when was the last Avengers movie that came out? See you later, Kareem.
What's your name? All right, Kareem. Um, it was in game, wasn't it?
How long ago was that? Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
Something like that.
Yeah, so I think it's been a healthy amount of time for us getting away. I know the last couple Marvel movies haven't really done good, so they're going to be invested in this to make sure this is right. You know what I mean? So I know it seems like they kind of lost their ways a little bit, but you know what I mean, we'll just see. I'm gonna have high faith in it. But as far as nervousness, nah. I think the studio's nervousness because if this doesn't do well, we all expect it will do well. But let's just say if it doesn't do well,
Ooh.
like
I don't know. We expect.
no, I'll say this. I think the first initial,
I'm like 60-40.
well, yeah, I think people will go, but I think the first movie is really going to say a lot whether this franchise is going to be good. You know what I mean? Because I think people will go see it just because we just haven't seen an Avengers movie, and just with all the names, I think people will just go to it. But this last Captain America movie I heard wasn't really good from certain people that did watch it. Now I don't know if it was just the fact that go into that, but it could be that too. But I personally haven't seen it, so I'm not gonna sit here and say if it's bad or not. I'm just saying from what I've heard. Like I'll judge it on my own when I have the time to watch it. But I just think it's a lot of pressure on Marvel to succeed with this because I can only imagine the amount of money they're spending on this movie.
Yeah, it's something to watch. Something to watch. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mhm.
All right, man. NBA Europe. I'm gonna let you line this one up.
Yeah, man. So I'm Silver. He had a press conference, I think, like sometime last week. And a lot of questions have been with expansion. I know a lot of people have been excited about the Seattle and Vegas expansion. So there's been some questions about that, but it seems like the NBA is more focused on starting a new Europe league overseas. I think they wanted to have like 12 teams or something like that. Um, Keep the FIBA format and all that. And then I think aren't they still aren't even thinking about the whole expansion with Seattle and Vegas. So, my question to you is, do you think the NBA starting a Europe League is a good idea? And them not focusing on the expansion of Seattle and Vegas, do you think that the Europe League should overrule that?
No. What are we doing, man? Why we gotta make another league? Won't you add to the league that you are? Won't you help the league that you're already having issues with now?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm just saying. Like, everybody complains about the regular league. Now you want to add a Europe league that possibly nobody's gonna watch unless you're from Europe.
And they won't. You already have established basketball leagues out there like that have
Exactly.
more tradition. I'm like,
Exactly. So what are you
sounds stupid.
doing,
But
Adam Sam? What are you doing, man? Bring the basketball back to the Sonics or the Seattle market and bring one to Vegas and let's move on. Whoever's in your ear uh saying that this is a go, you need to fire that person because giving you bad advice. No, it's not a good idea.
this is dumb. You're wasting all your finances for a league that no one asked for. Europe doesn't want this. They have leagues that are already established that have so much tradition that are already there. We've seen the players from like Luca, Tony Kukoc, and all these guys, Jokic, that have come, Wimby, that have come from these European leagues. They don't need you. They don't need the NBA. They don't. You know what I mean? Some people think that the NBA product is not as good as compared to FIBA Euro basketball. You know what I mean? Like as Chris said, you have issues. I think talent wise, we are great. I think the main thing you need to focus on is them TV blackouts for locally. Get rid of them shits. Them shits is dumb. You need to figure out. Obviously, I don't think the All Star situation is as big as people think. I think the All Star is just the All Star. Just go back to the normal format. Do East and West. Call it a day. Bring back some creativity as far as like with jerseys and stuff like that. That's fine. But yeah, figure out the game. Like as you said, like there are certain problems with the NBA that can get fixed. Whether it's load management, whether it's style of plays, stuff like that. I think the addition of Vegas and Seattle, two thriving markets, you know what I mean? You see the excitement that Seattle has just been waiting to get back to Supersonics and just that whole lineage and culture. You know what I mean? You already know they're going to be successful. We already know the Vegas market is going to be successful with basketball, just with the transient town it is. And I think Vegas is the basketball town. I think it really is. So, it's just they have so many things that they can focus on that they're wasting money and resources on the league that no one wants. I think I like Adam Silver, but there's been a lot of questionable things that he's done. I never agreed with the new collective bargaining agreement with these salary cap situations and all that. I didn't agree with that. I think super teams is not a bad thing. I think it helps the league out, brings excitement to the league. Even though we do have more balance, I would say, in the league to a degree, but I just think it's just unnecessary, bro. I hate it.
Yeah. Do better. All right, man. So, I was scrolling through TikTok the other day, and this question made me think of you, sir.
Okay.
Man, you got to give me a straight answer, man. I just neither one shits either. In another universe, the LA Clippers, the Boston Celtics met in the finals. Are you cheering for the Clippers?
I'm not cheering for nobody.
No, you got to answer the question.
I'm not cheering for no. Why would I cheer for any of that team? I hope that arena blows the fuck up. And it doesn't even happen. The fuck? That's what I would root for.
Oh man, you got to cheer for one of them.
I hope COVID comes back and they just cancel the season. That's what I would hope. I'm not rooting for none of them teams. I hate Boston Clippers. Like, all right, look, if I had to root, I would root for Ty Lue just based on, the small relationship I have and knowing him. I would root for Ty Lue because I think Ty Lue deserves it. I wouldn't fear Clippers winning the championship. I wouldn't care. Like, so if I had to, if you force me to choose, I'm gonna root for Ty Lue just because of the small relationship that I know of him.
Was that hard?
Have. So yeah, I'm rooting for Ty. Yeah, I think he deserves it. He's been one of the best basketball coaches in the league. Yeah.
Was that hard?
No, it wasn't hard, but I was giving you 100 answer that I don't want neither of them to win. But if
I know you don't want neither one,
I'm going to root for Ty Lue 100%.
Right. I just wanted to know how much you hate the Celtics.
I despise that team. I despise that fan base.
How much you hate the Clippers.
Yeah, but I think the history between Lakers and Boston is more like the recent history of the Clippers and Lakers is just whatever. It's just the moment they got Kawhi and Paul George that it became relevant. But if they win a championship, good for them. You got 17 more to catch up. Like, Boston, nah, fuck Boston.
Okay. That he will be going to ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts, sir? Is this the end of Good Morning Football? Because only Kyle Brandon is still there.
I think we already saw the beginnings of the end of Good Morning Football with them moving times and shortening the hours or something like that, and moving their base or something. Like they've done a lot of changes to Good Morning Football. Look, man, Peter Schrager, I think he kind of sees the writing on the wall. Him going to ESPN, congratulations to him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a segment that replaces Around the Horn, because we all know Around the Horn is going to be gone here, I think, in May, sometime in the May or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got a little thing. I would honestly like for Peter Schrager and Mina Kimes to have like something together. I think with those two uh, minds, and I think just their personalities, I think they could come up with something pretty dope. Especially with football segments for sure. So, yeah, I won't be surprised if he has his own show, own radio station or radio show or something like that. I think he's going to get a lot of star time. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? You see ESPN, they're adding a lot of talent, even after all their massive layoffs that they've had recently. It's kind of curious to see the direction that they want to go. You know what I mean? I think with a successful show like Around the Horn and all that, I'm just curious to see what they're going to do with their A block as far as like primetime afternoon slots. So we'll see. But congratulations to him. I'm sure he got the bag to leave Good Morning Football.
Yeah, man. I'm sure he did. I'm pretty for sure they'll do something with Kyle Brandt. He'll probably have his own show eventually. You know what I'm
You
saying?
think he's going to get moved to ESPN too?
No, I think he'll probably get his own show on the NFL Network or something. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll give him like K has the what's that, Up to the Minutes, whatever that show's called. Maybe he'll get his own show like that or something, his style or whatever. Maybe he'll get full control of Good Morning Football and he can make it more into his image or whatever. But yeah, man. As far as Peter Schrager, man, I like Peter Schrager. He's good at what he does. He's good at what he does, man. And I'm pretty for sure you'll see some first take appearances from him, or
he's gonna get the whole world tour.
NFL Live, he might be on there too. Or
Monday Night Football.
He'll probably be a sideline reporter talking about what teams had this coach such as maybe he'll do some one-on-one with players and stuff like that. I can see that too. And like you said, he'll probably get his own radio show. I can see that, the Peter Schrager show.
You can see that when they get there, because they get the Super Bowl in 2 years next year. Mm-hmm. When is it on ESPN next year?
Something like that. Yeah. He might even be on Get Up. I can see him on Get Up.
Oh yeah, I can see him being with Greeny and them. Yeah, for sure. He's 100% going to be on Get Up.
Yeah, I can see him on Get Up. He's used to getting up that early, so.
He's definitely going to be on a world tour when he starts. When did they give him a date when he's supposed to make his first appearance on ESPN?
It's just a rumor right now. They just said it's rumored that he's going to ESPN. He hasn't signed.
Well, I know he. I think he said that he was going to ESPN. I don't know.
Oh, he said it. Oh,
I think he officially said he's going to ESPN. I just think I didn't know if they had like an official date when he was going to make his first appearance or anything like that.
I ain't seen no date. I'm pretty for sure it'll be coming up soon. I'm pretty for sure they want his opinion when it comes to the draft and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right. He'll probably make his debut around draft time. Yeah, I can see that.
So I can see him on some of these draft shows with Mal Kiper, Phil Yates, and some of those guys. So yeah, he'll probably be on real soon. So shout out to Pete Schrager though, man. Shout out to him.
Congratulations, sir. Well deserved.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Let's do our NFL offseason outlet. Now, here on the Cris Style Mal Podcast, we like to keep it 100 over here. I messed up last week. You know what I'm saying? We already did the AFC South. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of just regurgitated some information. Because when we were talking about it, I was like, did we already say this? Now look back to past episodes, and we did AFC South all in one day. I forgot, maybe we had to skip an episode or something, so we just like, but we're gonna do it all in one day. So, but it's cool. We're gonna do the NFC South. We're gonna do the Bucs and the Panthers. Okay. Where you at? There you go. All right, let's start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. They had a pretty solid season last year. The injuries kind of hurt them last year. The Chris Godwin injury really hurt them and affected them. Mike Evans got hurt in the beginning of the season, but when he came back, you saw the Bucs. They played a little bit better. Their defense was pretty solid too, but they had some injuries also on that side of the football too. With the Bucs, they just got to improve on some of the stuff that they already have. Their running game is really good with Bucky Irvins and White. The receiving core is actually pretty good with Mike Evans. Chris Godwin signed back. I like what I saw from Jalen McMillan. He improved as the season went on. Otten is a really good tight end. So, and their offensive line is actually pretty. Tristan Wirth is one of the best left tackles in the league. So, they got a really good offensive line. Baker Mayfield is, become a staple as far as a solid, good quarterback. In that probably 8 to 10, 12 range as far as quarterbacks in this league, depending on who, how you feel about them. But defensively, I think they need to add some more pass rush juice on that side of the ball. Didn't they sign Hassan Reddick?
Who, the Bucs?
I think they signed Hassan Reddick. Yeah, they did. Which that's a solid pass rushing option. But I think they need to get some youth. With this being a strong defensive line draft, I expect them to get one of them to pair with Hassan Reddick and Vita Vea in the middle, and probably get some more secondary help. They need help on that back end too. So I think Buccaneers, like I said, they're solid on the offensive side. Would I be surprised if they add a receiver? No, I don't. But I think defensively is where they need to, put more of their resources in, especially in that secondary.
I agree with you. I think with this team, I think it's going to be very curious to see how this offense plays without Liam Cohen as the offensive coordinator. I think that's going to be something to kind of look forward to. Look at, we know the success that Baker Mayfield has had with him. So I think that's going to be really, really important. It's just the consistency with Baker Mayfield has always been the issue with him. But, we got to look offensively. I agree with you. I think, getting Chris Godwin back was really a huge plus. Obviously, him coming off the knee injury, which we all think he'll be fine, bouncing back. We all know Mike Evans is a hell of a talent. He is getting older. I think sooner or later they're going to eventually have to, recognize that. But I don't see him going anywhere. I won't be surprised if he had another 1,000-yard season. He came close to not getting it this year, but I won't be surprised if he did it again. But I also agree with you. I think the signing of Hassan Reddick was really good. Now, hopefully, he can, be motivated to, that now that he got his money, get in camp, be ready. He had a lot of problems with the New York Jets and stuff like that. So I expect, him to have a bounce back year. But I agree with you. I think they still need to have a couple more answers on that back line, defensive backs, whether it's adding another pressure to help Vita and all that. So, man, I think the number one situation with them in the draft for the first round should definitely be on the defensive side. So I think with all those, it should be an interesting year for them. I still think they can definitely compete for this division. I think they'll probably be the favorites to win this division. But yeah, you got some young up and coming teams that could battle them. You know what I mean? We saw the inconsistency with the Bucs, and there's been a lot of questions with their head coach, and you know what I mean. I don't think he's on the hot seat, but you never know, man. If they don't have the year that they expect this year, I won't be surprised if you start hearing his name at the end of next year of being an opening there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, for sure. Go to the Carolina Panthers. Dave Cannell, second-year coach. This will be his second year to put his imprint on this team. They have solidified pretty much that Bryce Young is the quarterback of the future. He showed promise after coming off of him being benched and him coming back. He played a lot better. This team rallied around him too. That was a good sign. You could tell that they love him, you know what I'm saying, and they believe in him and his talent. Xavier, what's the dude name? Leggett. He's gonna have to improve with his hands. He dropped some key passes last year. He's definitely gonna you see the talent. The talent is there. He's got to improve with his hands and big situations, big key moments. He's got to catch that ball. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be looking for him this year to take that step forward. But they brought back Adam Thielen, but I'm pretty sure they need to add some more juice on that side. You got Chuba Herbert. You signed him to a 3-year contract, so he's going to be there. It's unfortunate what happened to Jonathan Brooks. He tore his ACL again, so he's probably going to be out for the season. And I'm pretty sure they might add another running back in this draft. But
they got Rico Dowdle. They signed him.
Oh, okay. But I would be surprised maybe in the later round you add a running back, especially how deep this class is. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a wide receiver. But I do think they need some pass rush juice. They need to get a defensive lineman that can take over the game. They don't have that no more. So they let go of Brian Burns, and the pass rush left with him. So they need somebody who can get after the quarterback, who can um who can help out that offense too. You know what I'm saying? So um like I said, they probably need to, get improvements from Xavier Leggett and Adam Thielen. He's, playing really well, but he's getting older. You know what I'm saying? Father time does come unexpectedly, and it hit you, it hit you hard too. So he might have a decline this year, but I think they do need to add another weapon on that side of the ball, whether it be a tight end or a wide receiver. But they, like I said, defensively, they need to get a defensive lineman and probably add another corner to go with Dante Jackson. So yeah.
No, yeah, I think this team, minus my Raiders, I think this is going to be one of the teams I'm most looking forward to watching the development of this team.
Yeah.
I, I'm rooting for Bryce Young, man. I think he's a solid kid, and I was really happy to see him succeed last year and finally find his groove. Like he found his comfort level, and in the moment he did that, he showed why he was the number one pick. Um, and we saw the games. You even saw it personally against your Chiefs. Just what the potentials they could have. I mean, you got Adam Thielen, the seasoned vet. I agree with you. Xavier Leggett needs to chill out on the raccoon recipes and focus on learning how to grab footballs, because I think it might have been that Chiefs game where it was one of those games where he had a bad drop where they could have won that game, and I think it cost them one of those games. So yeah, he definitely needs to work on the mitts for sure.
It was the Eagles.
Eagles game, yeah, that was a bad drop. I know they signed your boy, what's his name, Tashawn Watton.
Well, Tashawn Wharton, that was a good pickup for them.
Tashawn Wharton, they signed him, so I think that's a good pickup. I still agree with you. I still think they need to look in the draft to get kind of like that superstar, defensive talent that can take over the games on that defensive line. You got Jason Horn. I think he's one of the best young cornerbacks in the game. So I think there's talent across the board. I think they got a lot of excitement there. I think that fan base is excited. I think finally everybody's just going to wrap their arms around Bryce Young and watch him grow. Like he finally got to seal approval with Canals being the head coach, and I love that. So now that this team knows who their starting quarterback is, you got a solid running back in Chuba Hubbard. I like Rico Dowdle being the backup. It does suck that Jonathan Brooks has another knee injury. Hopefully he can bounce back. But sooner or later, you're probably going to have to get another running back. I agree with you, just because of just the injury history with Jonathan Brooks. You can't really trust him too much right now. And it sucks to see, because, he has a young career, and I know a lot of us had high expectations with him and just the talent that he was. But, it just is what it is right now in the situation that he's been given. So, but overall, man, I think this could be one of the surprising teams in this division. I would not be surprised if this team is competing for a division title at the end of next year. So I'm very excited to watch this team grow next year in this division, man. The NFC South has been one of those divisions that's just been like, no one wants to watch any of these games, bro. I think the Panthers could be one of those teams. I think the Bucs are too, where you got two teams, and then obviously we're going to get to the Falcons and all that with Michael Penix. You have some teams that, it's going to be exciting to watch this division finally. So when we finally get a Panthers game or a Falcons game or a Bucs game, we're not going to sit there and be like, all right, well, what's on Netflix? What's on HBO? Like, you actually have some teams that offensively can, be eye-catching for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man, that does it for our NFL offseason outlet. We will be doing the Falcons and the Saints on Wednesday. All right, man. Got anything else?
No, I don't have anything as far as sports topics now.
Raw's going to be on at 12. The Rock looks like he's about to show up tonight.
Okay. I should make it for entertaining.
Yeah.
I have to watch the recap after my dentist appointment.
For sure. All right, man. Real quick, your flowers of the week.
Yeah, man. So I got a couple. First, I want to give out a shout out to the city of Vancouver. Amazing city. If anybody has not visited Vancouver, beautiful city. People out there are amazing, very nice, very hospitable. Had a great time. Two, I want to send my condolences. Obviously, this is the day that Nipsey did pass away, so I definitely want to give flowers to him. Definitely transcendent rap pioneer in LA. Just saw some of the things he saw as far as like he done within the community. So it's a sad day, but also it's another day to do remembrance. And then last but not least, I definitely want to give flowers to a friend of mine. She did pass away last week. Um, you know, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I share that same condolences and flowers to said friend. It's an unfortunate situation, but give her flowers and my condolences to her family. Also, want to give my condolences to the family of battle rapper Bishop Bagante. He unexpectedly passed away. Young man, I think he's in his 40s. Very instrumental in the Canadian battle rap scene, King of the Dot. Unfortunately, he passed away. So give him his flowers and condolences to his family. Um, but on a higher note, I want to give my flowers to my son. My youngest son turned 18 today. I want to give
Congratulations.
flowers to him. Tell him I love him. Hope he has a great birthday. I know he celebrated his birthday on Saturday with his siblings and his mother um, and his stepfather. So, yeah, man. Shout out to my son, man. I love you, man. And you're grown now, man. So you got to start paying some bills. No, I'm just
Yeah,
playing.
nah, for real.
No, but shout out to him, man. For
Yeah,
sure.
no, happy birthday. Congratulations.
All right, man. Who does your hell now go to?
Honestly, bro, I don't really have a hell no at all, man. I don't. So I'm gonna let
My hell now goes to Kanye West, man. What are you doing, man?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
What are you doing, man? You going on this hate Kendrick Lamar tour? You were dressing up and swastika hats, and you got a
Did you watch
black
that
Ku,
interview
Ku
with?
Klux Klan outfit on, talking to DJ Academics. And DJ Academics, you get a hell no every day of your life, but it's just disgusting, man. You know, man, this is can we hear him just cancel him from existence? Cancel culture. Do your job.
Kanye ain't going nowhere, dog.
Yeah, I know. But still, you get hell no.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. Bye. You get your goddamn ugly ass on. Oh my God.
All right, good people. Usually, we do all of our promotion and all that stuff. My man Maul got to get about it. Man, he got an appointment to go to. So remember, get you some sports magnet drink. Use our promo code Cris Style Mal, $5 off. Remember to follow us on all social media platforms. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on the playback. Subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, man, also go to our social media website. All printified stuff is up there for our t-shirts, Cris Style Mal t-shirts. We got black, white, and we got the golden night colors too. And we got the dad hats too. So go ahead, follow us, support us. We appreciate y'all. And until Wednesday,